Israel droned Flotilla activists and then abused Greta Thunberg. Who would have imagined 5 years ago, when we were seeing Greta Thunberg amplified by every mainstream Western liberal institution, that we would one day hear reports that she has been captured and tormented by the Israeli military for trying to bring formula to starving babies? The Guardian reports the following. In an email sent by the Swedish Foreign Ministry to people close to Thunberg and seen by The Guardian, an official who has visited the activist in prison said she claimed she was detained in a cell infested with bedbugs, with too little food and water. The embassy has been able to meet with Greta, reads the email. She informed of dehydration. She has received insufficient amounts of both food and water. She also stated that she had developed rashes, which she suspects were caused by bedbugs. She spoke of harsh treatment and said she had been sitting for long periods on hard surfaces. Another detainee reportedly told another embassy that they had seen her, Thunberg, being forced to hold flags while pictures were taken. She wondered whether images of her had been distributed, the Swedish ministry's official added. The allegation was corroborated by at least 2 other members of the flotilla who had been detained by Israeli forces and released on Saturday. They dragged little Greta by her hair before our eyes, beat her, and forced her to kiss the Israeli flag. They did everything imaginable to her, as a warning to others, the Turkish activist Ersin Selek, a participant in the Sumud flotilla, told Andalo news agency. Lorenzo D'Agostino, a journalist and another flotilla participant, said after returning to Istanbul that Thunberg was wrapped in the Israeli flag and paraded like a trophy, a scene described with disbelief and anger by those who witnessed it. End quote. These reports, as shocking as they are, also happen to more or less reflect exactly what the Israeli regime said it intended to do to the global Sumud flotilla activists when they were captured. Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir said last month that Sumud activists must be treated as terrorists in order to, quote, create a clear deterrent from future flotilla activism, declaring that anyone who chooses to collaborate with Hamas and support terrorism will meet a firm and unyielding response from Israel. Ben-Gvir said at the time, "We will not allow individuals who support terrorism to live in comfort. They will face the full consequences of their actions." After the flotilla activists were abducted by the IDF, Ben-Gvir filmed himself taunting them and calling them terrorists. Israel, needless to say, has an extensively documented record of torturing and abusing individuals who've been given the terrorist label by the regime. So it would appear that they singled out the most high-profile activist on the flotilla for abuse in order to send a message and deter future efforts to break the siege on Gaza. This comes as CBS News publishes a report confirming what we've been saying since last month, that Israel launched multiple drone attacks against the global Sumud flotilla. Citing 2 U.S. intelligence officials, CBS reports that Benjamin Netanyahu personally authorized attacks in which drones were deployed from an Israeli submarine to drop incendiary devices onto the boats to set them on fire. Israel has been documented using quadcopter drones to drop incendiary firebombs on tents and buildings in Gaza. Last month, Trump's Middle East envoy Tom Barrack casually admitted during an interview that Israel is attacking Tunisia, which was where the boat carrying Greta Thunberg was docked during their first drone attack. Like the report on the mistreatment of Thunberg, these drone attacks would also fit in perfectly with the Israeli government's depraved and cynical decision to treat the flotilla activists as terrorists. After the initial claims of a drone attack on the flotilla, the information ecosystem was flooded with Hasperists claiming it was ridiculous to blame Israel for the attacks, and that the fire hadn't come from a drone at all. Odious genocide propagandist Eyal Yacobi got nearly 10 million views on a tweet where he falsely claimed to have video evidence showing that the fire was actually the result of a misfired flare from one of the boat's crew members. Anyone who'd actually watched the video would have seen that it showed nothing of the sort, but because Yacobi inserted a narrative above the video claiming it shows that, I had people in my Twitter notifications telling me for days that it had been conclusively proven the fire was started by a flare. I encountered even some solid Palestine supporters expressing doubt about the drone attacks when the reports first emerged, because it seemed too heinous to be believed. But this just goes to show that there really is nothing you can put past these freaks. Israel and its apologists lie about everything. Everything. We are far past the point where it is reasonable to give Israel the benefit of the doubt when we hear reports that it has done something evil. If you'll launch drone attacks on activists trying to bring aid to starving civilians, there's nothing you won't do.